Welcome to Core Finance, live from London. Sponsored by Beaufort Securities, live on Facebook at Core Finance TV. In terms of Twitter handle for you young people out there, at Core Finance TV. I'm joined by Matt Brown. Morning to you, Matt.
Morning, Moose.
Right, let's kick off market movers. Give me the headlines. Markets flat as Trump's business groups end and Fed minutes.
Yeah, a couple of things here. I mean, the markets looking yesterday at everyone, all the CEOs leaving Trump's policy meetings. That's obviously negative. Let's look at it on two fronts. Negative for Trump, negative potentially for the dollar. It further shows that there's a dislocation between Trump and business.
Yep.
I understand a lot of the CEOs need to stand up and make a stand against comments that weren't made after Charlottesville at the weekend. Now, in the short term, fine, they've made a stand, but the problem is going forward now, there's no influence with the government for US business, and that really, for the US PLC, is not a good move.
Well, I read a headline that he reckons I've got many to take their place. Grandstanders should not have gone on.
Well, we'll see who comes in, but I mean there was some big names that walked away, so they're important parts of the US industry. So overall, I don't think that's a good thing, and maybe this is what Trump wants. He wants people, yes-sayers around him, people who are going to agree with his policies. So let's see how that goes. Fed minutes as well. Look,
transitory.
Yeah,
indecision.
Indecision, exactly. I think we're at a crossroads here. A lot of members are now looking at the low inflation numbers coming out of the US and saying, look, we can't be raising rates in a low inflation environment. But I put that down a lot to a lower crude price.
Yep.
Now, if we see oil move back up, then I think it could be back on the cards, or interest rates are more likely, hikes are more likely to happen. So if you want to play, if you don't want to get involved in the dollar and don't know where it's going at the moment, maybe oil is a play against interest rate hikes. Look at that.
Understood. Let's move swiftly on to FTSE One to watch, Kingfisher.
Now here's a company I can't understand. Every time they report, sales are down, and there's a big problem as well. France, they own Castorama in France, and every quarter I look at their numbers, sales are down in France. I can't believe why they haven't spun this off a few years ago. Maybe it's a hedging play against Brexit, I don't know. But Kingfisher are trading down 4% this morning. The sales in UK and Ireland are down about 7 to 8%. Sales in France, again, down about 3%. The only light at the end of the tunnel is Screwfix. It's a digital business now. It's all digital. These big warehouses, they cost money to heat, supply, staff, etc. Kingfisher, I just don't see.
Clearly not in your portfolio, sir.
Definitely not.
Right, let's move on to AIM. AIM one to watch. Don't know much about this. It's Seeing Machines. Is this robotic of some description?
It is. It's digital. I mean, I'll explain briefly what they do. They stop you falling asleep in your car.
Okay.
I won't really go too much into the technology, but they're there to, certainly for businesses and private users, if you're driving, to stop you falling asleep at the wheel. So it monitors what you're doing with your head, your eyes, etc. Now they've signed up a deal with an automated business or a car that's looking to have driverless cars, but there's going to be a space in between where you still need to be awake if you're in a driverless car, and probably have the responsibility. So this is good for the AIM stock. They might get a bit of an uplift on this, but worth noting their major investor has been selling down their stake recently, so maybe they know something we don't.
Okay, let's move on to something I do know a little bit about, the British pound. Euro, Great British pound, cross 91.25, and cable, Great British pound against US dollar, 128.89. There was a couple of big headlines yesterday.
Yes, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, talking about if they see problems intensify in the UK, that we could see the pound against the dollar down to 124. Worth also noting that if negotiations completely fail with Europe, the EU, we could see it down at 110. So a very bearish call on the pound. It would take it to lower levels than we saw after the Brexit vote. Yep. So this is Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, really kind of stating we
Perhaps
could.
the obvious.
Yeah, the obvious. But so I mean that's what makes a market. We've had a lot of commentators saying, maybe we could see it at 140 at the end of the year.
The technicians we've interviewed are looking for lower prices, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Even if not just in the short term. So look, that makes a market. That's a bold call from Merrill Lynch. I think probably will settle somewhere in the middle.
Okay, let's move swiftly on to the broker upgrades. Peel Hunt this morning, Card Factory buy. Target 430 raised from 400. Now this is sort of a very working man's card shop, isn't it? Very cheap.
Yeah,
very
cheap and cheerful, but they're not. I mean, they're cheap relatively, but cheaper, but still for a card, I think it's £1.50 or whatever. The stock's trading around £3. They've got about 800 stores. Peel Hunt basically upping their target, seeing some profit there. There seems to be a card for everything. It's A-level results day today. They've probably got a whole shelf stacked full of them. The kids are up. I mean, it's the first time 18-year-olds are probably up before 9 o'clock the whole of the summer this morning. So good luck to anyone getting your A-levels. But look, there seems to be more events that people are buying cards for, and it's something that it has gone online, but I think the physical card business will still continue.
Let's go on to the core number of the day, 42.4. Yeah, as the boss, what's that all about?
It is the hours, the average hours that the UK employee works per week. It's worth noting this is the highest in Europe.
Yep.
The average is around 40. I don't know who the lowest is, and I'm not going to be xenophobic and guess who's probably at the bottom end. But look, the UK employees are putting in the hours. The question is, are they efficient? Are they doing everything they should be? Is there a reason they're working so hard? Is it because they're being paid by the hour and are expected to work that hard? Is it a cultural thing? But the bottom line is the numbers speak for themselves. We're working 4 to 5% more than Europe, but maybe we need to.
Happy. Right, let's finally wrap up with the economic calendar. In the EU today, 12:30 ECB policy meeting. At 1:30 in the US, we've got the initial jobless claims. As we've got the retail sales this morning.
Yeah, retail sales out as well, so watch out for that. As we've seen with Kingfisher down about 4% today, so in the retail space is of interest for
investors. Last comment.
Markets flat. I think we're going to see a similar today and tomorrow with the markets, but yeah, looking out for UK retail stocks this morning.
Matt, thank you very much indeed.